Let me ask you something, DC Snyder fans. Do you bleed? Well, we're about to find out in my 4K review of Batman v Supes. Stay tuned. What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Mid-Level Media channel. I am Ken, here today for another 4K review. This time we're going to be talking about Batman vs Superman on 4K. That's right. If you watched my selling my Blu-rays video over the weekend, then you'll know that I sold about 18 Blu-rays and 19 DVDs, and I got Batman vs Superman and another 4K pickup. And I got this specifically for review so I could talk about it before the Snyder Cut, or Zack Snyder's Justice League, drops on HBO Max March the 18th, which by the time this video drops will be tomorrow. So, you know, all the anticipation's in the air. Everybody's wondering, you know, how good is this going to be? Is it actually going to change anything? Is it going to make for a better Justice League movie? You know, everybody's excited. So I thought I would talk about one of his more, I would call this one of his more divisive films, right? I mean, this movie has like a 29% on Rotten Tomatoes. And I remember seeing Batman v Superman in the theaters back in 2016. I remember enjoying it quite a bit, even though then I could recognize some flaws, some things that I didn't like as much. But just going into the movie, guys, you know how these usually go. We're going to talk about the movie itself first. Then we're going to talk about the packaging. I'm not going to do an unboxing video of this because there's really nothing special about this, and it's been out for a few years now. It's just the case. I didn't even get it with the slipcover. So I'll show you the inside of it right now. You just got two blank discs right there, and you got the reverse, the back of it, and then you got the front of it. So there's your unboxing. But yeah, I'm not going to do like a real unboxing, but we're going to, you know, grade the packaging. We're going to talk about the audio, the visuals, the special features, all that stuff that goes into these 4K reviews. I like to cover it all, but really I just like to talk about the movie itself. And I mean, we do have the Zack Snyder's Justice League coming out tomorrow, and to be honest, I am not very excited about it. I thought Justice League was okay when I watched it. I thought it was fine. I didn't hate it. I gave it like a 7.5 out of 10 on my Instagram, if I remember correctly. I have not seen it since the theaters. Haven't really had a desire to go back and watch it. Same thing with this one, to be honest. I saw it in theaters. I enjoyed it for what it was. Didn't really have a desire to go back and watch it. To me, it's not top tier DC on the level of like the first Wonder Woman, Joker, Man of Steel. I love Man of Steel. I've seen those movies multiple times, but this one I never felt the need to really go back and watch, because as good as some parts of this movie is, it has just as equal of bad parts in it, parts that I really don't enjoy, very annoying aspects to the film. So getting into the film, and guys, I'm just going to talk about this kind of in a general sense. I've got some notes wrote down that I'll kind of go into, kind of giving my positives and negatives and stuff about the movie. I did watch the Ultimate Edition for the first time. So when I saw it in theaters, I just watched the 2.5-hour theatrical cut, of course. Then they came out with this Ultimate Edition, I think, pretty much 4 or 5 months after, which in my opinion, I don't know if I'm completely down with this new wave of, you know, we put a movie in the theaters and a couple of months later we have a director's cut that comes out and just changes everything. To me, it reminds me a lot of like what video games are doing now with like DLC content. It's like if it was supposed to be in the movie, just put it in the movie. And I get that you have restraints and time limits and stuff like that. Maybe they didn't want him to make a 3-hour movie. I don't know. In my mind, though, he's Zack Snyder. He probably could have got a 3-hour movie pushed through. So if it would have made for a better film, I think they should have actually had the definitive version of this movie in theaters. Who knows? Maybe the Rotten Tomatoes score would have been like 35. But to be honest, though, I didn't really notice like the difference because it has been so long since I've seen that original theatrical cut. So when I watched the Ultimate Edition, I noticed that there were scenes that I didn't remember, but I didn't know if I just didn't remember them because I couldn't remember them, or if they weren't actually in that original film. So I know that they flesh out the character of Superman a little bit more. They give him a little bit more backstory, a little bit more motivation, and I did notice that when I watched the Ultimate Edition. But at the end of the day, guys, just going into this movie, to me, it still felt like it had the same problems as the original theatrical cut. I know they moved some stuff around, some things were cut differently, some certain scenes were placed in different spots within the movie, but ultimately it felt like mostly the same movie that I saw. And that's kind of my fear going into Justice League, is the fact that I saw Justice League in the theaters, and I just don't feel like, just like structurally at its core, it just wasn't a great story and narrative. And I don't know exactly what Zack Snyder is going to do to kind of turn that around. But I don't know, maybe it's great, maybe it's fantastic. There's been tons of reviews coming out saying it's the definitive version of that movie, and it's awesome. So I will reserve judgment. I'm gonna wake up tomorrow, I'm gonna watch that 4-hour thing, and then I'm gonna talk about it next week on Ken's movie experience. So getting back to this movie really, it's like 18 films in one. Like, that's the biggest problem with it. It just doesn't have any focus on any solid narrative storytelling. It's just all these different movies in one. You got a Batman origin story, you got the sequel to Man of Steel, you got the actual just conflict between Batman and Superman, you got a Doomsday storyline, another villain that gets injected in at the 2-hour mark, you got a Wonder Woman introduction in here. It's just so many different things are going on in this film at once. And you know, Marvel does this kind of stuff too. Like with Civil War, you had a Spider-Man origin story, you had a Black Panther origin story, but it all felt like natural, and it felt like it fit within one overarching narrative in that film. Whereas this one just feels so disjointed in the way that it puts all of these pieces together. So that's really the main criticism. And also you got the whole Lex Luthor storyline with Capitol Hill and his relationship with Holly Hunter and that whole thing, and the Capitol building blowing up and all that. But that's its own storyline as well. And then he kind of injects himself into the battle between Batman and Superman and really acts as like the motivating catalyst to really get that battle into motion at the end. But yeah, for that reason, like, it's just not the strongest movie to me, just from a narrative storytelling perspective. Now, the visuals in this movie, Zack Snyder knows how to direct a great movie visually. He does. You can never say anything about his films as far as production, special effects, just the way it looks and the way it comes out, the way he shoots action. It's awesome. I mean, this movie, we'll get into the 4K here in a second, but it just looks fantastic. And the actual battle between Batman and Superman, I mean, it's everything we as fans were hoping for our entire life, to finally see these two iconic heroes, two of the holy trinity of heroes. You know, we got the other one in this movie as well, just clashing for the first time. And it is freaking awesome. As a Batman fan, you know, I'm not the biggest Superman fan. Henry Cavill is awesome as a character, and we'll talk about him in a second. But as a Batman fan, it's just so cool to see him beat Superman's ass in this movie like he does, and just using his detective skills, which we don't get to see Batman do a whole lot of. And then just seeing that raw power of Henry Cavill as Superman when he walks up and he just hits him and Batman goes flying back. Like, it's so many cool scenes in this movie revolving around that fight. And then, of course, it ends with the iconic "Save Martha, why did you say that name?" And it kind of ruins it a little bit. But it's like, I get the scene, I get what they were trying to pull off. Like, it made sense. But it comes off as ridiculous, especially now after all the memes and all the people making fun of it for the past 4 years. It comes off even more ridiculous now that I watch it than when I watched it 4 years ago in the theater, or almost 5 years ago now, actually. Damn, this movie, 5 years old, huh? Ben Affleck as Batman, like, a lot of people say that that's their Batman, that's their favorite Batman. I get that. He plays a very different Batman. He's older, he's more jaded. It's a very different take on this character that I do enjoy within the context of this movie. I think that Ben Affleck does a fantastic job, but in my opinion, you can't really say that Ben Affleck is the best Batman when he doesn't really get his opportunity to shine like full force, like he would in a solo Batman movie. I think he needed his own solo Batman movie to really solidify the fact that he is the best Batman. But I guess the fact that he was only in maybe like 40 to 45 minutes of this movie, he stands out to a lot of people as their favorite Batman. Just a testament to how good Ben Affleck is at portraying this character. So I enjoy him. I enjoy his performance. But to me, I would still put Christian Bale. I would still put Michael Keaton, especially Michael Keaton, over Ben Affleck. And he's probably like my third favorite Batman. So Henry Cavill, to me, is still the definitive Superman. I think he's plays the character with such strength and honor and dignity. I love his portrayal of this character. And admittedly, I haven't seen a lot of the Christopher Reeve Superman, so that may be why. Maybe when I go back and watch those, I've seen parts of Superman too, but yeah, to me, I love Henry Cavill as this character. I think he's awesome. Man of Steel is just like one of my top 10 favorite superhero movies of all time. It's my favorite Zack Snyder movie. It's my favorite DCEU movie. I love that movie so much. And if you want to see how much I love that movie, go back to Ken's movie experience earlier this week when we ranked every single DCEU film and Batman film together, and you'll see where that one ended up on the list. Then you got Wonder Woman, Gal Gadot's first introduction as this character in this movie. And I'm gonna tell you what, when she first shows up on the field, when they fight Doomsday, I get chills. When they play that Hans Zimmer score and it comes in, she just looks so awesome as this character. And it makes me so sad now when I watch it, because she's so great. And she's so great in the first Wonder Woman. And I don't like Wonder Woman 84 at all. And I thought that she was a shell of her performance in this movie and in Wonder Woman. I think she is so good. I love the way she acts and the way she plays this performance, the way she smiles and kind of smirks, like when she's getting ready to go in to fight Doomsday. Like, she is not scared at all. She goes straight in there. It's almost like she's having fun when she's fighting Doomsday, and I just thought that was awesome. The awesome character trait that they threw in there for her in this movie. So let's get into a very big glaring negative in this movie, beyond the story structure and the narrative flow and all that stuff. But Jesse Eisenberg, man, is just horribly annoying in this film as Lex Luthor. And I mean, you have to have a good villain in these types of movies to really pull off a good superhero story. And he is not that. He is not that at all. You get Doomsday at the end, who's very menacing, and I like Doomsday. I think he's awesome in this movie. I love that fight, even though it does feel like the 10th story in this film by the time you get to it, and you are a little bit exhausted by the 2 hours that came before it. But yeah, Lex Luthor is just, he's so annoying, and I don't even know what he's doing with this performance. He's just like, you know what the difference between power and greed is? And he just has all of these little like things that he says and these little anecdotes that he's always quoting throughout the movie. And like, none of them even make sense when he's talking. So yeah, Jesse Eisenberg, I like him in some stuff. Of course, he's great in The Social Network. I love him in Zombieland too. He's been great in a lot of movies, Adventureland, but this movie is just, it's not for him. Just get rid of him, throw him out. I don't want to see any more Jesse Eisenberg as this character. So Amy Adams, to me, is very wasted in this film as well. She's great in Man of Steel. She's like one of my favorite actresses of all time. So seeing her kind of regulated to this side role and this side character in the story, you can just tell that they don't really have any interest in developing Lois Lane as an actual character other than just her relationship to Superman and how she fits into his story. So that's a little disappointing, just knowing the caliber of actress that Amy Adams is. Just seeing her in this movie really do nothing. Yeah, guys, as for a movie, like I said, there's positive, there's negatives. I don't hate this movie. I like a lot about it. To be honest with you, I had fun watching this movie and revisiting it for the first time in 5 years. It's not the best superhero movie. It's not the worst. I'm going to give it a 3.5 out of 5 for my review of the movie. So getting into the actual packaging of this release, guys, it's just a standard 4K. Like I said, I don't even have the slipcover. I do own the Blu-ray though, and I have the slipcover for that, but yeah, packaging, just basic 4K packaging. I'll give it a 3 out of 5 for that. Nothing real special about it. No disc card or anything. There's just black disc. As for the visuals, guys, I got to go a 5 out of a 5. Like, this is one of the most stunning 4K releases that I've ever seen. It looks so freaking spectacular. Like, a lot of this movie is very dark, so you really notice those contrasts and those blacks and stuff like that. In particular, the scene like where Batman and Superman like first really meet, like with the Batmobile, and it kind of skates along. It's like that iconic shot, and you see Superman, the headlights are shining on him. That looks freaking fantastic. Yeah, so many scenes in this movie just look awesome. The 4K, the HDR looks incredible. Like, one I really noticed was when Superman like comes down in Capitol Hill, and it just does like a close-up on his face. Like, you just really notice the details in his face. And yeah, it looks fantastic in 4K. Gotta give it a 5 out of a 5 for the visuals, and the audio as well, a 5 out of a 5. I think it's perfect audio. I love the score in this. I love the way it sounds. I love the way it's mixed. It just, everything sounds awesome. It is available in Dolby Atmos and 5.1 DTS, and yeah, it sounds incredible. As for the features, guys, though, I mean, it has the same features as the Blu-ray. There's no really different features. They're okay. They're not, honestly, they're not the best special features I've seen. You got a glimpse of the future of DC's bold new cinematic superheroes, so pretty much just showing off the Flash and Aquaman, which is another injected storyline they bring into this movie. The introduction of all of these future Justice League characters into this movie. So this movie's so incredibly bloated. But Gods and Men, the meeting of giants, the warrior, the myth, the wonder, accelerating design. So yeah, there's a lot of good special features in this, but there's nothing that just really stands out as a great special feature. So I got to give this a 3.5 out of a 5 for special features, guys. And that gives us an overall score, guys, of a 4 out of a 5 for this 4K release of Batman vs. Superman. If you do not own this, you know, I'll leave the link for purchase down below. I think it's going for about 15 bucks on Amazon right now. Like I said, I got this for 10 bucks used at a store, so it's not a bad price, and it's honestly the definitive way to enjoy this movie. I really enjoyed the movie. I enjoyed the rewatch of it. But yeah, let me know in the comments below how you feel about this movie. Are you going to be watching Zack Snyder's Justice League tomorrow? Are you a fan of Batman vs. Superman? Who is your favorite? Who are you hoping would win the battle? Let me know in that comment section below. Remember to like this video, guys. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Turn on those bell notifications and save Martha.